Hello everyone, TheSkilledRoy here, back with another channel update video. So it's been a while since I've sort of came in and talked to you guys about the channel itself rather than just LOR leaks or fighting game news and all that sort of fun stuff. But today we're actually going to be talking about the channel as a whole because we actually just broke 5,000 subscribers. I say it excitedly now, but actually this video has taken so long to come out because I've been so busy with the reveal season that we've suddenly almost reached 6,000 now. So thank you so much for that. But anyways, I promised you all that we would be doing an AMA for 5,000 subscribers, and so we pulled a bunch of questions out from Discord, and I'm going to answer as many as I can in about 10 minutes or so. So let's get right into the questions. Okay, so the first question is by Barony. Which game are you most hyped for the launch of? Please say Project L. So Project L is obviously a really cool game, and I'm really excited to play a fighting game. But I'll be honest, guys, an admission of mine right now, I do not like tag fighting games very much. I find that they take away a lot from what I enjoy in fighting games. And unfortunately, that when Project L was confirmed to be a tag fighter, I was like, man, I don't know about that, man. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that, so if I'm being honest. So I think unfortunately Project L has slid down a little bit on my priority list, unfortunately. But overall the game should be exciting, and I think a 2v2 tag fighting game would be a lot more exciting for me than a 3v3 one. So we'll see if it measures up to that and see if it manages to subvert my expectations as to what I think a tag fighting game is. So instead of that though, I am really looking forward to Project F actually, which is the ARPG League of Legends game, which is a top-down sort of like hack and slash style game where you just sort of fight through a bunch of mobs as League of Legends champions and stuff like that. Like it's like a true PvE experience, and if I'm hoping if it's anything like some other games in the genre like Diablo or a Path of Exile, then it's gonna be right up my alley, and I really want to play that too. So Project L and Project F I think are my two most games I'm most excited for right now. Next up, Caffeine asks, what is the best thing about LOR that other card games should take as an example? Holy shit, it's Spellman. Spellman is objectively the best part of LOR. It's not even funny. Like, in other card games, you can get entirely screwed over based on your opening hand if you drew too many early game or too much late game, right? And you can put yourself in a position where you feel bad about your hand in some way, and it means that there's a non-zero number of games in other card games that get ruined due to like mana flooding, too little mana starving, really like skewed hands, really bad like starting position, etc, etc, etc. And I feel like the Spellman system alone has really gone miles to really make the LOR game feel a lot more engaging. It makes it feel like there's a lot less dead games, and I think that's a wonderful sort of metric to sort of aim towards, especially in a card game where I think the genre as a whole is famous for having some games where you just can't win, right? So I think overall the spell mana or some way to sort of alleviate your slow starts in the early game would be a really, really great way to do that. And I think spell mana is one of the best reasons why the LOR succeeds, if I'm being honest. All right, next up, Stalks asks, what is your favorite emote? And I think this one is too easy. There's two really good ones. Number one is Cheers from Vladimir, where he like raises his goblet, you know, classic. And the other one, of course, is Lulu Sip, where Lulu has like the little blueberry and she's just like sipping out of it. Both of those emotes are great. They're super versatile, really great overall. Huge fan of both of those. All right, Bear Nasher asks, what is a keyword you feel should be removed? Lurk. All right, next up, Reb46 asks, what are my top 3 characters on my wish list for Project L? So I think number 1 is pretty obvious based on the icons you can see there, and that is Thresh. Thresh is a character who I really sort of picturing is going to be like a zoner, kind of like Axel from Guilty Gear, using his chain sickle to sort of keep enemies away and then land grabs full screen and pull them in to do a quick combo and then send them flying back out like with like Flay. I really think that Thresh would be a really awesome character, and I think he's perfect for that type of gameplay style. Obviously, number 2 has got to be Pyke, my number 1 champion, the champion I play all the goddamn time, both in LOL and in LOR. Pyke is one of my favorite champions of all time. Really, really cool character. And if you haven't seen it yet, Bruiser Minion has done an amazing video breaking down what Pyke could be like in Project L, and it's basically everything I want, so please go watch that. And speaking of Bruiser, he and I also collaborated on the 3rd most champion I wanted to see, which is of course Jhin from League of Legends, obviously, as well. You can go take a look at our video covering what we kind of imagined him to be like. I'm a happy chaos enjoyer, so like I gotta say I would definitely want a gun character who's a zoner, because it is so mean and it's so much fun to play happy chaos. So yeah, I think those are my top 3. All right, next up, Thrall's Not Playtested, aka Doug, says, what is my Smash main outside of Roy? And of course, people will react with Chrom, because Chrom is Roy's Echo Fighter. But in reality, though, I don't play very much Ultimate, so Chrom wasn't really an option there. Instead, I played a lot of Melee, and I played a lot of Project M. So in Melee, my alternative character was actually Sheik, because at the time there was a player called Borp who was famous for not using tech skill, and I didn't use tech skill because I was too lazy to learn it and too lazy to keep it into practice at all times, not to mention my hand issues. There's a bunch of other shenanigans going on, but basically I was like, hey, you know what, I'll pick up Sheik because clearly you can still do well with Sheik even if you're not using tech skill. But for Project M though, I actually played a lot of Ike. Ike is another one of my favorite characters from Fire Emblem games, and having the ability to jump out of your quick draw gave a lot of really cool options that I really personally enjoyed. So those two are my characters I sort of looked at, besides Roy, of course, who I played in both of those games as well. All right, Fakey Stick says, how did you find LOR? Well, I found it the same way that most people found it, which was through the 10-year anniversary for League of Legends, where they showcased all sorts of new games they're working on when the Riot Games became Riot Games, right? Like, it was a pretty cool time, and honestly, seeing a card game appear on the screen was like super hype inducing for me, because I played a ton of card games throughout my life, and having the world of League of Legends with card games, a genre that I loved a lot, was a match made in heaven. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's it right there. They also asked, what is my favorite Persona character from each game? And that one's a bit tougher. I'm going to do 3, 4, 5 because it's been a while since I played 1 and 2, and I know I'm going to piss someone off if I say something incorrect there, so we'll skip that for now. But in Persona 3, I think my favorite characters were Mitsuru and Akihiko. I love the senpais in that game. They felt really, really fun. They felt really cool. I generally really like the Persona 3 cast as a whole comparatively to the other Personas, so it's really tough for me there, but I think those two in particular were really great. For Persona 4, I'm a huge fan of Naoto. Naoto has a really cool character arc, and I think if Persona 4 could be revisited today, they could do Naoto's arc a lot better and done with a lot more nuance. So I'm personally someone who would really want Persona 4 Naoto to get a better serving of what she initially got. But the next one was Persona 5, and Persona 5, I think I gotta go with Yusuke, my boy Yusuke. Yusuke, I sympathize a lot with Yusuke's struggles a lot, and I think Yusuke as a character is very engaging to me in particular for, admittedly personal reasons, but I really do like him a lot, and I think he's really, really fun. His aesthetic design and his Phantom Thief looks so sick too. I love using him. I love Yaijutsu sword styles. Like, man, I could go on forever about how much I love Yusuke. But yeah, I think those are my top 3 there for those personas. Next up, Argon asks, what are my top 5 anime? Now this is hard because honestly it changes all the time. I'm honestly probably better suited to just post like my anime list so people can get an idea of the things I like. But I guess just off the top of my head, Hajime no Ippo is one of my favorite anime of all time, especially if I am allowed to bring a new challenger into that. Trigun is great, Cowboy Bebop, Durarara, Steins Gate, of course, Kenshin, Fooly Cooly. I think that's more than 5. Those are some of the ones off the top of my head that I really, really enjoyed. I'm not really big on seasonal anime, if I'm being honest. I'm not really a huge fan of how tropey they get. But some of those older school animes I'm a huge fan of. And every now and then something surprises me. I think Demon Slayer, for example, is a really, really cool. While the writing is honestly, let's be real, pretty mid, I think the pure spectacle and the pure animation, sound quality, design, everything else about that series is so excellent that I can easily just look past the shonen plot, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think those are some general anime recommendations from me. I'm sorry I probably went over 5 there. Next up, Sifter says, what are my top 5, 10, 100 flavor cards or flavor texts? So obviously spending that much time getting all of them is be a little ridiculous, so we're gonna do my favorite flavor text that I currently just have off the top of my head, which is a card called Last Word from Magic the Gathering, which says, someday someone will best me, but it won't be today and it won't be you. Just Perfect writing, really like snarky sort of comeback that you want to you like play last word and you feel like you should say that, because the last word as a spell is a counter spell that in it itself can't be countered, which means that the opponent can't stop you from countering their spell, which means that like you are truly getting the last word. It's a great spell. I'm a huge fan of it, and its flavor text, so that one's definitely one of my top choices for sure. All right, I think that is actually it. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Obviously this has been a hell of a time making it to 5,000 subscribers. Hell, we're already almost at 6,000 subscribers somehow. I don't get it. But I'm really excited to sort of see where we can sort of go from here. And I hope you guys really are interested in seeing other types of content from me, because while LOR leaks are great and interesting, I do think eventually, like, I don't want to just keep doing this one thing. I'm a really creative person, so I really want to go out there and try new things and make cool new types of content, and I would really appreciate your support on that as I sort of try to transition to something that's honestly a bit different than just covering news, essentially. So we'll sort of see how that looks when we get to it, of course. I don't want to like tip off too much just yet, but I think you'll be excited for some of the stuff I have ahead of us as well. But of course, I didn't answer all the questions. There was, frankly, way too many than I ever expected. So I will actually be spending the next couple, probably week or two, going through the entirety of that channel, and any question I didn't answer here, I will at least try to make an attempt to answer. So if you had something you really wanted to ask me, feel free to either A, leave it in the comments, and I will do my best to answer every single comment in this Discord, in this YouTube comments that is a question, or of course you can come onto my Discord and go into the 5K AMA section and feel free to ask any questions there as well, and I will get to them as soon as I can. Otherwise though, thank you again everyone for coming by to the channel, and thank you so much for being a part of the 5K subscriptions. It was absolutely crazy. I never would have expected to get here at this point, but yeah, I'm really thankful. Thank you everyone. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.